The stage lights were still warm when Roseanne stepped off the platform. The cheers had faded, but her ears kept ringing. She walked down the dark hallway behind the curtain, heels clicking like a clock, counting down to silence. Her heart was still racing, her hands still shaking slightly from the adrenaline. This was supposed to feel like a dream, yet tonight it didn't. She had sung the same song hundreds of times, but tonight something felt different. Not in the melody, not in the words, in her. It was as if the notes echoed deeper inside than usual, hitting something she'd tried to bury. Backstage, a man handed her a towel, another gave her a bottle of water. They all said the same thing, "You were amazing." But their voices sounded flat, rehearsed, like lines from a play. Their eyes were already drifting toward their next task. She was just part of the routine, just a sound that faded once it stopped. Roseanne sat in her dressing room alone. The mirror lights buzzed softly above her. She took off her earrings one by one, wiped away the last bit of glitter. She stared at herself in the mirror. Not the global idol, not the icon in designer clothes, just Rosé. Roseanne Park, the quiet girl from Melbourne who used to sing under a lemon tree in her backyard, barefoot and unnoticed. Her phone buzzed, from unknown. "You remember the street with the red door?" She stared at the message. No name, just that line. But her fingers trembled. Before Korea, before Seoul, before BLACKPINK, there had been a summer, a quiet summer in Auckland. She had stayed with her aunt and spent most of her time walking the streets, playing guitar by the water, and sitting on the porch of an old house with a red door. It was there she met him, a boy with paint on his hands, a sketchbook full of unfinished dreams, and a crooked smile. They had made music together, played old songs, wrote new ones, and talked about everything. He had believed in her voice before anyone else, called it the night voice, soft, deep, filled with light and shadow. On the last day before she left for Seoul, he said, "One day you'll sing for the world. But don't forget where you started," she had promised. Then left, and never looked back, until now. For 3 days, she ignored the message, buried herself in rehearsals, makeup, cameras, fans, but each time she sang, her voice trembled on the second verse. Her chest tightened on the final chorus. Something inside had been stirred. On the 4th day between interviews, she booked a flight to New Zealand using a different name. In Auckland, the sky was overcast, and the wind carried the smell of rain and sea. She wore a hoodie, sunglasses, no makeup. On the streets, no one recognized her. It felt strange, and somehow peaceful. She found the old neighborhood. The street hadn't changed much, the same crooked pavement, the same ivy-covered fences. And there, at the corner, the red door. It looked smaller now. The paint was chipped, faded to a brownish rust, but it was the same door. Her hand shook as she knocked. A pause. Then footsteps. An older woman answered, gray hair tied back, kind but tired eyes. She looked at Roseanne for a moment, then gave a soft smile. "You're looking for him." Roseanne blinked. "Yes." The woman stepped aside. "He's not here, but come in." Inside, the house was quiet. Worn rugs, wooden furniture, the smell of dried lavender and old books. On the wall hung a faded photo, a boy and a girl sitting by a piano. She remembered the moment. He had taken the picture on a timer saying, This will be proof that you were here when the world forgets. He left years ago, the woman said. Left everything behind, except that. She pointed toward the corner. The piano. It was dusty, but intact. Roseanne ran her fingers across the keys. The sound was soft, a little out of tune. She sat down and played the first melody they'd ever written together. Her eyes burned. On top of the piano sat a black notebook. She opened it. Lyrics, chords, scribbles, all in his handwriting. Near the end, one sentence stood alone on a page. If you ever sing that song, don't let them change the ending. Her throat closed. She left a note inside the book and walked out without saying a word. Back in her hotel that night, she picked up her guitar and started writing again. Not for a label, not for a camera, just for herself, for the boy with paint on his hands, for the red door, for the summer that never really ended. At 2:17 a.m., another message came. From unknown. I heard it. You remembered. She didn't reply, but she kept the phone by her pillow.
Enjoyed the story? Support the channel. Buy me a coffee.